I love when the coffee kicks in and things just start vibing. You're my hero.
All right, how about the sound now? Jacob, let us know if the sound is on.
Wow. We got to do, this is the first time in a podcast history we have to do a two-peat.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny in a good way because we
I
learn
mean,
as we grow.
as long as the mixer just records our audio, we're good.
That's true.
Usually, because this is a new layout that we're doing. All right, Jacob gives us a thumbs up. All right, we're good.
Hell
Cooking. So yeah, so usually whenever because we're using a new format, a new style, so things are going to be a little bit different. So things are going to be a little bit different to fix and whatnot. So yeah, definitely. Of course, like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe,
Like and subscribe.
and
love
follow us. Follow the share the podcast. Get more people to listen to us, hear us out, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so we can hear y'all out.
Yeah,
that
and
is
then
the
of
real
course it helps us grow as well. So.
Yeah. We grow as you grow and as you perform and speak and express yourselves like the human beings we all are.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we finally have sound, we're glad to be back on another episode on Thursday.
Yep. And this time, this is a much different episode compared to some of our previous episodes, to where this time we're actually going to allow you, the people, the viewers that are currently watching us live, this is your chance, your moment, your opportunity to call into the podcast and give us your thoughts on tonight's subject, and that is what led to the downfall of the Xbox brand. And I want to start it off with, I think, a couple of things that did factor, a couple of things factored into the downfall of the Xbox brand. And I think it goes all the way back to the 2013 E3. Yes,
yeah.
everyone knows about the 2013 E3 when when Microsoft debuted the Xbox One the next gen console coming in after the Xbox 360, and it was a disaster because this was the console that was not focused on gamers, and yeah, they ended up paying for it, and ever since then, the Xbox brand has never recovered from that. I would say that is the biggest one. The second biggest one was the fact that during the Xbox One era brand, they tried to go after the single player market because they saw how successful Sony is doing it. So they ended up acquiring a bunch of studios. This is way before
Oh, yeah.
Xbox Game Pass. This is way long before Xbox Game Pass. They bought up a bunch of studios, and gamers are hoping that, okay, now they're gonna start putting out single player games. This is before Xbox Game Pass, but unfortunately, that was not the case. Majority of those developers that they ended up buying out, that they ended up acquiring, were to help them to publish and put out games for Xbox Game Pass. So people that were expecting new single player games, they were kind of mid at best. It kind of let people down. Even the multiplayer games like Gears of War 5
Yep.
wasn't really good. Gears of War 4 was okay. People gave it a chance, but it just didn't have that feel of the previous iterations of Gears of War. Halo, Halo 5,
Yes.
and Halo Infinite, it just did not click with gamers. It did not.
And remember when they were talking about the Battle Pass and a Halo game for the first time
Yeah.
ever?
Yeah, it just was not looking good for the Xbox brand. And I would say around that time is when Xbox was starting to lose its identity, because back in the Xbox 360 days and during that era, the Xbox 360 was, in fact, and I will say this, even though I am a avid PlayStation fan, I like PlayStation. I've owned all of them, and majority of my games and my playtime are on PlayStation. I will say this about the Xbox 360: it was the best multiplayer console of all time.
I agree with that.
Best multiplayer console during that era, because the fact that with PlayStation, yeah, with their multiplayer games, sure, you had Killzone, you had SOCOM, you had Resistance. That was, and you also had Warhawk, then Starhawk and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
that was their games. But Xbox, when it came to their multiplayers and the experience that you would get on the Xbox 360, it was a night and day difference. Granted, yeah, you can play some games like Call of Duty, some fighting games like Street Fighter and Tekken. It always played better on
On
the
Xbox.
Xbox than it did on the PlayStation.
I was thinking about that too, especially when Street Fighter 4
Hmm.
became more popular
Yeah,
when it came to the Xbox. And was Street Fighter 5 in the PlayStation range again, or it was
it was exclusive for the PlayStation.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 just revealing itself was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it to have an Xbox 360 back in those days. Now, granted, the thing that did hurt the Xbox 360, I'm not gonna lie about this, was the Red Ring of Death.
Yep,
Everybody
for sure.
everybody remembers the Red Ring of Death. It sucked. Those that had the OG Xbox 360 that had to,
Yep.
you got the Red Ring of Death. Now you have to go on YouTube, have to go on forums to figure out, okay, how can I fix this? Then you have to send it to Microsoft. Then it takes a couple of days to months for you to get your console back, and then hopefully it works and it's functional or whatnot.
We
Or-
gave up on that when I was a kid.
Yeah, like a lot of people, including myself, went through a couple of Xbox 360s. I went through three. I went through three because I remember my last Xbox 360 that I had when I was on the hunt to buying a bunch of like retro consoles or whatnot. I had an Xbox 360, and it was one of their newer models, and that shit just bricked on me. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, I found in my storage my original Xbox 360 with the Red Ring of Death, and then I found a newer version of the Xbox 360 that prevented that version. Because they had that old-fashioned white console, then they had a black console,
Mm-hmm.
like the pure black with the red emblem, with the with the green emblem showing off when
Yep.
you turn it on. Yeah, I still had both Xboxes actually, with the hard drive intact and a spare hard drive, because there wasn't much data in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, I realized Microsoft was one of the first companies to have hard drives specifically that you can remove or detach or actually add on. I was listening to the history this morning, and that was the most fascinating thing, where Bill Gates actually did not approve of this idea. They called it the Valentine's Day Massacre because Bill Gates did cuss out most of his employees for saying, "Why would you betray me, taking out our technology, putting it in another console? Nobody's going to buy it." Then then he sunk. Then the Xbox came in happening. I'm like, that is insane. A console that great having a hard drive, and Bill Gates doubting it within the first end when he wanted to be a part of the gaming industry because he knew it had potential.
Right. With the Xbox 360, it was by far the best multiplayer console. It was the
Mhm.
go-to experience, and then you would think gamers would have that experience going forward into the Xbox One. Like, games are going to be a little bit better. We're now going to go into another new generation, so the features, the things that we've experienced on the Xbox 360,
The parties, the chats.
everything is going to transfer and translate over to the next generation, and it's going to be a lot better. And then
It
E3
just-
2013 happened, and
That was so awkward.
then it just crashed like badly. It was just on that plane, and then it just took a huge nosedive and just crashed and burned to the point where Xbox themselves had to go back and redo everything all over again to try to regain their lost fan base, because majority of Xbox 360 gamers, ended up becoming PS4 gamers. They ended up owning a PS4, or they went to PC. It was one of those two options, because a thing that people did not know, when the Battle Royale free-to-play games started to really come out and started to really blow up, Fortnite being one of them,
Mhm.
Fortnite was free to play on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
to the point where you did not need to have PlayStation Plus. Xbox, however, you needed the Xbox Gold
Yeah.
to play a free-to-play game online.
It's Robert.
That hurt Xbox badly, to the point where years later they finally allowed, be like, you know what, it's a free-to-play game. You should not have to purchase a yearly online subscription to play a free-to-play game. But it was already too late, because Fortnite blew up. Everyone that was playing Fortnite, all the little kids playing Fortnite, they were on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
They lost their audience. Xbox tanked hard as the go-to multiplayer console. Granted, yeah, there were some good games that did come out for the Xbox, but it was already too late. The damage is already
It
done.
was way too late.
So now you're thinking, okay, you know what? Xbox is trying their best to try to try to go back on the uphill or whatnot, try to, regain their notoriety because yeah, they messed up. They had to change some leadership or whatnot. In comes Phil Spencer, and now we start hearing about Game Pass. Game Pass being the thing. Now you're starting to see Xbox exclusive only games now starting to be available on PC.
Yeah,
And that's when I started to see the writing on the wall that I think Xbox is completely done. And now we have the X Series X and S. Those are out, but at that point, it's like you might as well save a good chunk of your money to just buy a PC. And if you don't have enough money to buy a PC, I would say a really good, decent gaming PC would run you about $800 at the lowest level possible. 800 at the lowest level. If you really shop around and try to get some deals, you could definitely find a good, decent PC or even a laptop at around $700 to play some good games.
Yeah, literally.
But the damage was already done. The Xbox One completely was
it sunk.
It sunk very badly. The multiplayer games, like the flavor that the Xbox 360 had, was not there with the Xbox One, and it's like the Xbox One is trying to find its identity. And now moving on to the X Series X and S, now what's the main thing you hear about Xbox is just Game Pass, and then of course Xbox being available on everything. Now to the point where now we're getting Xbox games going to PlayStation,
where it just feels less out of touch.
Yeah.
So I was going to piggyback off of E3. I was reading this from a Reddit user, but you know what the funniest thing they did with the early Game Pass? Members got 2 free games a month.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, that's it.
Yeah, with PlayStation, I think it was like 2 to 3. So that's normal. Yeah.
It is. I'm like, wow, they introduced a new Xbox when they had the Gold program. Now they have the Game Pass kicking in, where everything feels like it's a waste of money when you can just wait out the Game Pass.
Literally.
It is unfortunate.
And it sucks because I enjoy it, because my best memories of the Xbox was the 360 days. And then, of course, when the Xbox, the actual console, first came out, you had a bunch of games that came out with it that were just completely unique on its own. I remember Jade Empire. I remember playing the hell out of that. I also remember some of the Star Wars games that I've played. I played Def Jam on that one, but I definitely preferred the PlayStation version. Soul Calibur 2, because I enjoyed Soul Calibur 2 on the Xbox because it had Spawn in it. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was definitely on that. But I would say I had very little experience with the Xbox itself, because back at that time the PlayStation 2 was king. Like it was hard. It was hard, but once you saw a new piece of tech, a new piece of hardware, a gaming console coming out, it's the Xbox, and you started seeing these games. And of course, one of the ones that took everybody surprise was Halo.
Yes,
that's when it's like, oh, this is dope. This is cool. And of course, you could play online as well. But the Xbox was not the first console to have online capabilities. It was actually the Sega Dreamcast.
that is true.
Sega Dreamcast was the first one, but you can still even the PS2, when they finally had that network adapter, that really big block that you put in the back of the PS2, the Fat Boy PS2.
Oh
yeah, you can play online with that as well. That's how I was able to experience SOCOM 2 online, and some of the Ratchet and Clank games.
People knew about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that, but I'm trying to think about my Xbox.
It shows you my age.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I remember this. I remember a bunch of random accessories for the PlayStation and Xbox, like how you had the Wi-Fi adapter. Then you hear about HDMI ports back when it was a thing, when you had the 3-prong cables, or the 3 little cables that you put in the back of the TV, for those of you that don't really have flat screens back then. Or they did have flat screens, but not
CRTs.
Yes, thank you. Wow, my memory's fading. Anyway.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Yes. But yeah, when you had CRTs back then, or flat screen TVs that weren't really fat, but you just had to plug it into the back and you had to struggle to make sure each cable was right, then if you're wrong on one cable, you just see static. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah.
I'm still shunned. I'm trying to remember my Xbox memories, but Soul Calibur 4 was like one of my favorite games back then on the Xbox, where it had the exclusives. Where I did have a PS3 where I watched people play Vader, but hey, I'm playing Yoda.
Exactly.
Mortal Kombat 9 felt like a ripoff because there wasn't really much for Xbox, but watching people had Kratos for...
Yeah,
that made me upset. I'm trying to think of more Xbox exclusive stuff, but there wasn't really much that was significant. Makes me miss those GameStop commercials that they actually put effort to.
I miss those commercials, those gaming commercials that we had back in the days or whatnot.
Now it's just trailers and people's reactions.
Yeah, because
Yes.
times have changed. I don't think many of us actually sit down and actually watch TV, go through channels and whatnot now, because everything is usually on YouTube or Netflix, or for anime watchers, it's either Crunchyroll or some other anime site that is free.
Or like a pirate channel where you find like mobs nearby you.
Hey man,
You
it's,
gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, you have to.
But yeah, I feel like that's also like a small decay of Xbox. You didn't see much advertisement as much as you usually do. You only see like very few games come out, but nothing exclusive or significant besides Halo.
Yeah. And that was the thing that carried Xbox and it carried the brand. And then Xbox 360 comes out. You have Halo 3. I will never forget the cinematic trailers and how blown away I was with those trailers. Then Gears of War. Oh my god, it was just so good. I was like, yo, this looks legit. Like that feeling of I wish I could relive that feeling, that moment again, seeing the Gears of War trailers for the very first time on the Xbox 360 and being able to play it at GameStop as a demo and just being in awe of the game, because it was like, bro, I've never played something like this. Like, this looks so dope. It looks so surreal. Like, it gave you that really next gen feel. And as I said before, man, like, I've had so many good memories with the Xbox 360, despite the fact that I primarily played on the PlayStation 3. But when I was able to own both at the same time, I was gaming. Okay, I was gaming in my early 20s because you had PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. You could not go wrong.
Nah,
And
you can choose which ones.
yeah, exactly. Like the PlayStation being my go-to for my single-player games, some of my JRPGs. Even though I wasn't playing a lot of JRPGs at that time, I was mostly into a lot of shooters. But still, the PS3 was good for single-player JRPGs, and of course some of their exclusive lineup as well. While the Xbox 360 was just pretty much the king of just multiplayer games, because this is where you're gonna get the best experience at for your multiplayer games, because PS3 did not have party chat, Xbox 360 did.
Oh my god!
And the craziness
the
was
the
just,
fucking voice notes.
bro.
You hear people cussing out, rapping over each other, putting instrumentals and stuff. Like, if you look up YouTube right now, chat, and you just see Xbox 360 messages that people put like a camcorder in front, and you just hear boop, and then you just see the messages. No, you hear the messages of what people say.
Yeah,
out of
when
pocket.
you get voice messages, and it's just people cursing you out, it's a good time. Like, those are good memories. Like Xbox 360 back in the day, that was the wild wild west.
Oh my god, the Modern Warfare 2 days changed the best of people.
Everyone says that, but I don't think people realize how toxic, and I mean
Oh,
mad toxic, Halo 3 was.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
was
god.
briefly in that time zone very significantly. Then I heard about Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Then Black Ops 2, where people became more unhinged with their emblems and such. I think that's kind of a good thing that we changed as people. The emblems are way too out of pocket.
Oh yeah. But man, it was just a good time,
It
and
was. And the lack of well, I would say like a lack of attention when it came to people just like before reporting and sensitivity came a thing in cancel culture.
yeah.
You just see people like developing that thick skin as we speak.
Yeah, because most of us who are like around our age or even my age or a little bit older, it's like you've heard every insult.
Uh-huh.
Now it's just like, okay, all right, I've heard this before. Like, be creative with your insults. Like, be creative. Like, if you're gonna troll, like, be creative with it, because it's
Try
like,
harder.
yeah, like try harder. But I do want to continue back off with just the decline of the Xbox brand.
Yeah.
Because got a little.
We're talking too much positivity. Let's go back to the negativity.
Because, bro, I look at the X series, X and S, and I'm just like, I don't see myself owning another Xbox console, because it's like, what's the point?
I do too.
I have a gaming PC. Granted, it needs to be upgraded, and once I get to that point of upgrading it, it's like I don't need Xbox. And I hate that because I strongly feel that the Xbox brand could have been the gateway to esports.
I agree with this.
Like, I strongly feel that had Microsoft played their cards right, because how we see how the esports industry is moving and whatnot, if they just paid attention to it and be like, you know what, we're gonna try to make our next console more mainstream with the esports scene, make it more accessible, make it more affordable, they could really try to recapture that lightning in a bottle that they had with the Xbox 360. Granted, they screwed up with the Xbox One, and we really didn't start seeing like the whole esports thing really starting to kick off until Overwatch came.
Yep.
And I was at work today. I came up with the idea. No, it wasn't today. It was yesterday, and that made me came up with the idea for today's topic. And I was thinking, like, had Xbox focused primarily on just multiplayer games, making sure that multiplayer games, like your team-based shooters, your first-person shooters, third-person shooters, like, hey, it's gonna run optimal on our platform. It's going to cater more towards, team play. The features that we have on Xbox, like the voice chat and things like that, it's gonna cater more towards team, like, esports.
Yeah.
They could have really changed up the game, and they could have done that with Overwatch, because not too long ago we also hear that Microsoft is shutting down Skype,
Yep.
and I'm just like,
Damn, I feel bad for like the 3 people that still use Skype.
you say 3 people.
I'm over exaggerating.
I know you are, but it's like you'd be surprised how many people use Skype, and it's in the millions, because Skype is a
It's a global thing.
yeah, it's a global thing.
So was Zoom.
Yeah, that's where Microsoft screwed up, because they never, even though they bought Skype, they have never improved it. They bought it. They just did not improve it for over the years. Now you have something better like Zoom and Discord. Could you imagine Skype evolving to the point where it becomes like the next Discord?
Yeah.
Like, they had the money, they have the resources. Microsoft had it, and you're just like, what are you guys doing? It's like, why is it that when you guys buy something, y'all don't do nothing creative with it to expand it and grow to the point where now you got to let it go?
They just keep it the same.
Yeah, they don't improve on it.
It hasn't changed in over, 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
It's just video chat, message, bye.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
I used to Skype with people back then. Like
same.
10 years ago,
I remember when I was on my deployment and I was Skyping my now girlfriend.
I remember Skyping just like certain people for homework and such. Or like if I did not have any friends on Xbox, I could just talk to them on Skype. And I've seen some weird, freaky stuff on Skype that I never want to recall.
Oh, you're not the only one.
I know, but still, it's just like you've seen some crazy shit.
Yes. And I'm just like, dude, Microsoft, they had it, and they did nothing with it. It's the same thing with Mixer.
Yes.
Because they wanted a competitor to Twitch. Okay.
It was very brief.
Yeah, it was very brief, but I feel like they did it so wrong by trying to go after Twitch streamers, giving them $1 million contract
and
to bring,
it's like cutting it.
And then and cutting it instead of just be like, create new streamers, build them up to the point where now you're inviting more people to come.
Yeah,
instead of grabbing a big streamer.
I'm like, maybe I could be cool one day.
Yeah, instead of grabbing Ninja, create a new Ninja under your brand. They didn't. And I remember when I started to get into content creating and streaming and whatnot, I remember streaming on Mixer and getting a good amount of views and growing a good following. And all of a sudden, yeah, we're cutting it. And I'm just like, what the hell?
Like, what was the whole point in that process that you want to be better, and then you're just like, hey, we can't do this?
Now we have something like Kick, and I'm just like, bro.
People still use Kick?
Yes.
I remember people still using Kick for like gambling and such, but
Yeah.
you want to hear something funny?
What's
I
up?
forgot Skype was an in application for Xbox. You can use a webcam or Connect. I use my Connect to talk to some people. If-
That just goes to
It's
show.
kind of scary for a 19-year-old, but
That
still.
that just goes to show that anything that Microsoft try to acquire and buy, like they don't do nothing with it. And they just let it deteriorate, rot, and until something brand new comes. Like, hey, we're gonna take your concept idea and make it bigger, and we're gonna tank yours. Like, you had Skype, you had Mixer. Microsoft also had Start GG, and they didn't do dick all with it.
Yeah, until like, yeah, they really don't do anything productive.
No. And it's like you start to see patterns of what Microsoft is doing, and now we
They
see,
buy and then they die.
yeah,
Wow.
and they don't evolve or innovate. Like I understand, yeah, they're not good at selling hardware. Like, how many people remember the Microsoft Zune? You know, the little portable.
Is that a phone?
No, not a phone. It was like a portable MP3 player because it was the competitor to
iPod, I'm guessing.
yes, the iPod, the Apple iPod, because Microsoft wanted to make their own, and bro, you're looking it up.
Yes. What
Yeah.
the freak?
Yeah, they had something equivalent to that.
People are selling it for like $700. They're evil. And 8 GB for $60. Not tested in 15 years, no charger. But yeah,
It's an ancient piece of hardware. That's all I'm gonna say.
But-
But it just goes to show like they did not innovate far enough to stay in the game to the point where okay they could really capitalize on the market. They just
they just make and then it just dies.
yeah exactly.
They create something that's just bound to die.
Yeah, the only thing they got going good for them is Windows.
So it was introduced in 06 and then it died in 2012.
Yeah.
That is insanity. They had a first gen, third gen.
How many of y'all remember? I know this is, we're talking about games and whatnot, but we got to roast Microsoft for this. How many of you remember the Windows Phone
Very briefly, I've heard
when Microsoft were trying to get into the cell phone market? They failed at that too.
Don't worry, I'm looking it up. The cheat. Surface Duo?
Yeah.
Yeah, two of them. Surface Duo 2. Open two screens and discover limitless possibilities. They had virtual phone. The last.
Yeah, Microsoft was in the cell phone market, and that did not last long. But it just goes to show you that Microsoft had the ball. They were doing something innovative, and then they just stopped. They don't continue. They don't continue to innovate. And when you see what they started, like it was a good idea, and then it just completely falls and dies. Look at the Xbox, and it's just like we're watching the same pattern. Like they had it, like Xbox, the very first Xbox. Okay, good, starting out. Xbox 360, great, awesome. The only thing that screwed it up was the red ring of death. But other than that, it was still good. Then they effed up with the Xbox One, and now the X Series X, and everyone's just like, okay, whatever.
Okay, so it was released 2011 and then it died in 2017. This was related to Nokia, the Microsoft Lumia.
Yep. Yeah, I remember.
And it was supposed to be related to Xbox.
Yeah, because they wanted to get into the cell phone market. They wanted to, appeal to a new, audience, a new brand, a new audience and whatnot. But
Yeah.
they just come in with great, good ideas, good intentions. All right, cool.
They don't continue.
But they don't continue. They don't innovate. They just,
They just hope for the best.
yeah,
Like, even though Apple is the same damn brand for the past few years,
yeah,
they do change it very subtly, along with the applications that follow with it.
yeah,
I mean, the same thing with Android as well.
yeah,
Androids, they have very subtle change as well, but even though it's a wide variety, like you have the Fold, the Flip, you have the S series, the A series, and you have some very niche series.
yeah. You also have other brands like other Android brands like you have Google. You also have
Yes.
there's Google, Samsung.
Moto, technically.
Motorola. There's also OnePlus.
Yeah. You have a wide variety, but Microsoft had this idea, and it barely lasted a few years.
Yeah, because they just do not innovate far enough.
It went from Windows 7 to Windows 10, which is still insane to me.
Yeah, and now Windows 11 to where they're trying to force everyone who's stuck on 10 be like, hey, we're going to force you to update to go to 11. Even though people are like content with Windows 10. But
My laptop's on 11, but my PC's still on 10. I just didn't know about the consequences of my own actions.
but yeah, like,
You also remember Major League Gaming was a thing?
yeah, MLG, yeah.
Like, that pushed so much with Xbox, with the Call of Duty and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. Then they kind of killed themselves with being in debt until Activision bought them. And then they died again.
Yeah.
Because of pandemic. Man, that's like a fever dream.
Yeah, like the more I think about it, I was like, man, Xbox really, like, if I could have went back in time to talk to one of the Xbox executives and be like, listen, before you release the Xbox One, because what you guys got planned, you are going to hemorrhage money, like hemorrhage money.
Yeah.
You're gonna give PlayStation the W. And they're going to be eating it for many years.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to do. All this TV crap, don't focus on it. Focus on esports. Focus on the multiplayer aspect of the games. Better features for multiplayer. Skype. Evolve it to a point where it's like its own social media app. Like, it's its own Discord. Like, I'm going to be like, listen, I'm from the future. This is Discord. Copy this into Skype. Make Skype better. Because back then, I would say, 2013, Discord didn't exist.
No.
It did not exist. Everyone wasn't on Discord for, like, their social media, like, talking and whatnot. People were still on Facebook. People were still on Twitter or whatnot. But
Discord released in 2015.
yeah, so 2013, make Skype bigger. Expand on it. And then have it integrated with the Xbox, with the Xbox One. Make your games a little bit better. Granted, yeah, you are gonna you may lose some money, but make your games optimized for multiplayer play. So that way, when the esports things really kick off, when battle royales really kick off, now you guys are the go-to for esports.
It's more like a monopoly.
Yeah.
They could have done a monopoly, but they just left a graveyard.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not like an Xbox downfalling. It's more like Microsoft just fumbling after fumbling.
Yeah, they just... Because when you look at the things that Microsoft were innovating, that they were bringing in, they all failed. Like, it just goes to die. And you're just like, why? What is the cause of this? And you're just like, they just do not innovate far enough. And this was a very long time ago. I remember games for Windows. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't show you guys on the desktop screen because when I got this new layout, I didn't put like a one for desktop or whatnot. So maybe next time when I have some time to edit. But there was a thing called games for Windows.
It's like very niche games that like Solitaire. Well, technically Solitaire is like a generic.
Games for Windows Live.
Oh, Windows Live.
Yeah, that was a huge fail. Huge fail because the games that were there were not optimized. I'm just going to read this. Games for Windows Live is discontinued and can't be downloaded anymore. If you want to play games on your Windows 10 PC, I recommend finding the game you want to play in the Microsoft Store and install it. Xbox Live is integrated with the Microsoft Store, and while playing a game, you can hit Win key plus G combo to activate the game bar. Like, oh my god, games for Windows Live was just bad.
It was terrible.
And this was back in the early days of Steam, and then Steam really blew up.
Man, Shadow.
But yeah, like games for Windows Live failed. The Windows Phone failed. Microsoft Zune failed. Xbox One failed. Like Skype failed. Start GG, they didn't do nothing with it.
I'm trying to look at the specific games because I found a list for it, and like I've seen Arkham City, I've seen Dead Rising 2, and Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection, Virtual Tennis 4. I'm just gonna kill myself. I'm joking, but these are just really bad games. Like Viva Pinata, Street Fighter 4. Like I'm looking at significant games that are only for the marketplace, and Mahjong with Winston. Where's Waldo? There's nothing like that screamed, "This is something I needed to buy." This is more like screams like, "Just get a PC and wait a few years."
Yeah, like if you're able to play the game on a different client, like a PC client, do so because games for Windows Live, it was bad.
It's really bad.
It was just really bad. And that's when it sucked to be a PC gamer because some PC gamers had like very limited options before Steam became a thing. So that's when Microsoft was like, all right, we'll do something. Games for Windows Live, and it was just colossally bad to the point where you had PC gamers that hated the experience so much that they ended up being console gamers. And then when Steam became a thing, they went right back to PC because now it's like, now we have something better because games for Windows Live was just terrible in every way possible.
I feel like I had that memory repressed. Damn.
I'm that old enough to remember how bad it was. And this was long before social media really became a thing and really popped off.
So the release date was 07 to 2014. Was the last update. It was designed for the Windows Vista.
Yeah.
It still worked on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, 11.
Don't get me started on Windows 8. Oh my God.
Windows 7 was much better.
Yeah, everyone went back to 7. I remember that.
Whoever made it possible, bless their hearts.
Oh my God.
I tried updating from Windows 8. That's how bad one of my old laptops were, and it couldn't even do it. I had to put it out of its misery by leaving it in my storage.
As I said, this just goes to show that
forget the downfall of Xbox. This is a downfall roast of Windows.
No, not just Windows. It's just Microsoft
in general.
Like my God. Like granted, yeah, they're still making money. Of course,
they're trying to make money at this point.
But the things that they've tried to branch off to, try to innovate and create, it just wasn't working for them.
No, it was not.
Like it was a good idea at first. It ran well. There were some problems here and there and whatnot, but the experience was good. And then they just did not innovate because somewhere down the line, your competitor is going to make something even better. They're going to make it very innovative, and it's going to steal the people that were once loyal to you. That's just
the unfortunate truth.
Yeah.
You either going to watch yourself suffer or you're going to do something about it. It's pretty much what that describes. And Microsoft seems to be good at watching other people succeed even better.
Yeah. Like I understand that Microsoft is good at software sales, which yes, they are. When it comes to software, they're really good at making their money on sellers. What's that?
But for gaming in general.
But for gaming, it's just
it's at its prime. It was at its prime, and now it just feels it's outdated.
Yeah, because now when we look at where Xbox is now, like people don't care.
Yep.
Unless you're like an Xbox enthusiast or someone that loves the Xbox brand and you're still playing it and whatnot, like those people exist. But overall,
with the callers we have, it doesn't look like there's many enthusiasts like we used to have.
Yeah, and it's only going to be a matter of time. Like I highly doubt the next Xbox console is going to sell because what's the point? Your games are going to other platforms, so you really give people no other incentive to buy your console. It's pretty much useless at this point because why? Other than probably it plays the specs are a bit better. Okay, I'll give you that, but if I'm getting a much better user experience on this other platform, your competitor platform, I might as well just go there. Because it seems like you guys are not innovating to try to win new people to come to your platform. And that's how I feel with the Xbox brand, is that Microsoft is not doing nothing to win
No.
new people to come to their brand. You're not winning Nintendo gamers to come to Xbox. You're definitely not winning PlayStation gamers to come to Xbox, and you're damn sure not winning no PC gamer
no.
to come to Xbox, because what's the point?
I'd rather spend money on new like CPU or GPU.
And it sucks because the fact that they had such a good history with the Xbox 360 when they got it right. The console launched at much cheaper than the PS3. Granted, yeah, it didn't have any memory, but memory back then was, questionable, of course. But you could still game on the Xbox 360. You could still have a great multiplayer experience, even though you had to pay for multiplayer, but it was worth it.
It was worth the money.
Yeah. And now to see them back then, when I was much younger, to where they are now, is just like, you guys lost your identity. You guys did not innovate enough and far ahead to the point where we need to start winning these people back.
Yeah.
They just
So
said
I'm
F it.
laughing right now because I was just remembering when I was listening to this quick little YouTube series, they were talking about how the first Xbox, Bill Gates had The Rock walking around with it as a presentation in the early 2000s. I'm like, you had someone so iconic drop something so amazing, but you haven't been able to come back after that. It's just full-fledged commercials. Like back then, commercials for these new consoles were actually really good, but now you just see everything presented on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or you'll see people putting fake ads like, hey, this is a new Xbox. This is a leak. And it's just a box. Or it's just the same Xbox with them not shutting up.
Yeah.
It's like the advertisement extremely lacks. Even with their new like laptops, even controllers or some kind of updates or accessories, there's not really much information besides Twitter or what's just like from other stores like Best Buy. Oh, we have a chat.
No, that was me just
Damn.
putting the number. I gotta fix that. Don't worry, I'll get it right someday.
I'm teasing, but yeah, it's like Xbox does not care the way they used to.
No.
There's not even much presentation. You hear more of Sony announcing stuff
Yeah.
than you do Microsoft.
Yeah. Even if they were to do like an Xbox show and do like, hey, this game's coming to Xbox, and just like, is this a time exclusive? Like that's the first thing that goes in my mind. Is this a time exclusive? And if so, how long is it gonna be on the other platform?
I don't think it's going to last long, is the thing.
Yeah.
Until they actually take innovation.
Yeah. I would say, one, get rid of some people that are currently in charge. If they're not doing anything to win new people to come to the Xbox
Get
brand,
new people.
get new people. Get rid of the old, bring new in, people who want to see Xbox succeed, want to grab new people in. But I feel like at this point, they're already too knee deep already, to the point where Game Pass is now, they're trying to make Game Pass available everywhere. So it's like, what's the point?
And it feels like there's no point. That's the sad part.
No.
For those of you on our streams, the number is going to be 754-229-0829.
Yeah, for anyone that's watching and tuning in, like, we would love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Like, what was the downfall of the Xbox brand?
What was your downfall is the question. Man, that Celsius kicked in and I'm wide awake.
Because it's sad. It is just a sad case. Because I want Xbox to do good. I want PlayStation to have like a really good competitor that's competing against them.
Before it turns into a console monopoly.
Yeah. And then PlayStation doesn't innovate because, you know, for those that are watching or listening, you've heard our thoughts on the PS5. The PS5 does not live up to the hype of the PS4.
And that's unfortunate.
And that's solely because the fact that Xbox just pretty much be like, you know what, we're just throwing in a towel, we give up. So one brand is not innovating, which causes the competitor to not innovate as well. You need competition to breed innovation. Because guess who ends up benefiting benefiting from it? Us, the gamers, the consumers. When when Sony and Microsoft, PlayStation, Xbox, when they're competing against each other, coming up with creative and innovative ways to better the gaming experience, us gamers, we benefit greatly from it. Like I've said before, when it comes to single player games and JRPGs, it plays best on PlayStation.
Agreed.
When it comes and for fighting games, I would say Arxis games play much better on PlayStation than it does Xbox.
Yep.
Because in a way, you don't see a lot of Arxis game on Xbox.
I don't think you've ever seen many.
Like it took a while until Guilty Gear Strive was available on Xbox.
But then nobody touches Xbox except for like the 3 people that still play the game.
Right.
My apologies for being rude, but I'm saying this seriously. Like, there's some maybe like 1 or 2 good Strive players on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising is not on Xbox.
Oh no.
DNF Duel, even though a lot of people don't play that game, is not on Xbox.
BlazBlue on Xbox?
I remember the very first BlazBlue, and I think Continuum Shift and maybe Chrono Phantasma was on Xbox, but it was primarily popular with PlayStation. Under Night was on PlayStation. It was not on Xbox.
It was?
Yeah, I remember playing Under Night when it was on the PS3.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that game's got some age on them. Like most of the anime fighters were primarily PlayStation.
Yep.
And your Capcom fighters, your Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, your Street Fighter 4, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, even SNK games were on Xbox.
That is true. Like Street Fighter 6 is still on the Xbox Series X. Because I think the last one, Xbox One, most likely won't be able to run it. Or it'll be like a PS4 struggling.
Oh, yeah. But, man.
Such a bummer.
It is. Like, as I said before, like, I wish Xbox would just try to recapture their glory and just focus. Like, that E3 is where they crashed, and they've never recovered ever since. They try to go in a different direction, but even then, it was just, it's not even worth going in that direction, honestly.
Looks like there's only 5 games that are with Microsoft that are coming out this year. There's Killing Floor 3, which I've heard good things about.
It's going to be on all platforms.
Yeah, pretty much. Then they have Doom: The Dark Ages, which
all platforms.
I know. It's Microsoft as a company. South of Midnight.
Never heard of that one.
I'm trying to read a synopsis. A woman conducting magic, upcoming Series X. That's it. Then Atelier Yuma the Alchemist.
That's a JRPG.
Xbox Series X? Wow. Specifically, that's crazy. Then Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
That's that new RPG game. I think it's a French RPG game.
Hui.
And I'm interested in playing that game.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Because it's selling for $50. I was like, oh, that's a steal.
Yeah, that is a steal immediately. And I believe it's turn-based as well, right?
Yeah.
That sells me.
But it's a very interesting looking turn-based game. So it's like, you know what? I'm interested in trying this out now. I want to experience this.
April 24th, 2025.
Bet.
6 days before my birthday. Hopefully another tournament will kick in before then.
Yeah, seasonal mix. On the 26th.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, fair game. I would have killed you if it's on the 29th again.
Oh, no, it's not.
That was still the funniest thing humanly ever. But, yeah, there's only 5 games coming out this year for Microsoft. That's insane.
And they're not exclusive to the platform.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
It just sucks. Like, I understand they want to make money, hence why they expanded it. I get that, but now you've just made it harder for people to justify why they should buy your console. It's like, why should I buy it?
Yeah, it's getting harder to justify it nowadays, to make adult purchases that are worth it.
Yeah. Like, those that did grow up on the Xbox, like, we have the money. Like, I have the money to go out and buy an X Series S. I just don't want to because it's like, what's the point? I'm not gonna play it.
You know, I got something to confess.
What's up?
I got an Xbox One pre-owned. I never bought it new for like $100 back then. It's still in my storage. Like, I used it for maybe a few years, maybe since I've met you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a PS4 and became a real adult. And then I got into the path of a PS5 because I had a gaming laptop, then a PC.
Yeah.
But the PS5 is still here.
Yeah.
Because I don't even use it.
Yeah, because you mostly play everything on PC, so.
That's true. Discord is one hell of an app.
Yeah. Again.
Way to fumble, Microsoft.
Yeah, literally. Way to fumble. Like, granted, yeah, they had Skype integrated with the Xbox user interface, which was good. But y'all did not innovate further with it because that could have brought even more possibilities of growth to the point where now you're getting even more people to use your platform that you've bought. Because I remember Skype being not owned by Microsoft, and then Microsoft bought Skype as their own. Cool. All right, let's see what they're going to do new with it. They didn't do dick all with it, and now, we're shutting it down. It's like, why?
It's unfortunate.
A lot of people still to this day, like, a lot of people that are not in the U.S. that don't know about Discord still uses Skype. Like, if they don't know about Zoom and they don't know about Discord, they're still using Skype for their everyday, day-to-day, like, international, like, video calling.
Yeah, and that's very common. Oh, we have somebody.
Yeah, what's good?
What's good, homie?
Call in.
Dial.
Call into the podcast and share us your thoughts. We're just here just talking about Xbox, the brand, the history of it,
and
like
Microsoft just fumbling in general.
and Microsoft just fumbling big time because, man, it's like you guys had the ball in your hand. The ball was in your court, and you just missed every shot.
It's like right over here is the goal. They just went whoosh out the door.
They just kept missing every single shot, bro. And it sucks because I respect the brand. I respect the history of Xbox. I respect what
I love the features, the accessories and such.
The experience that I had with it, and all of a sudden completely fumbled.
We respect that, homie. No worries.
But I'm over. I can share my thoughts and share my thoughts and listen to you guys. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't mind.
Yeah, we're just here vibing.
Yeah, we're just here vibing. We're gonna just be here for like another couple of minutes, like another 15 minutes, just giving some people some time to, if they want to call in to the show, to express their thoughts on what caused the downfall of the Xbox brand. And hey,
yeah,
we're listening. Our ears are open. Let's have that conversation. Because
to sum up earlier, we talked about how we talked about some of the positivities of features and such.
Yeah.
And we switched up. I talked about some history. We talked about how esports was probably a great opportunity for Xbox and Microsoft to rise up. Then we've talked about some of the technology Microsoft and Windows has produced, such as the Zoom, the phones, and then Windows Live. It was just like a lot of stuff had fumble. It became more of a real downfall than it has anything positive or significant. I guess we were all in a cope of waiting, is what it looks like.
Jonathan, how do we sound now? Because you're watching over on YouTube. How do we sound, guys, on the microphone? Y2 Spectful says, I never owned an Xbox growing up. Mostly either had a PlayStation or Nintendo products, but Xbox did have some awesome exclusives. Halo, Gears of War, etc. Yeah.
That's respectful. In reality, everyone has a different pace in life, but in actual reality, you didn't really miss much. You have your own story, you have your own games, and that's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
We just had some brief experience. I played the Xbox 360 and the One, and that's where both of us stopped commonly, actually, which is super funny.
Appreciate that, Jonathan.
Were we low this whole time?
No, I think he said we were sounding a bit low.
Shawty got low, 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 low. Don't copyright me. Anyways, yeah, you haven't really missed much with Xbox. I mean, as long as you enjoyed the games you've played,
Says the
that's
numbers on service. Hold on.
the numbers on service. Oh no. 6, 7, 8. You know, that is a really good response. I think, honestly, they just got complacent. Once they say PlayStation and Nintendo starting up their game with exclusives and product and thought they could coast through with the success of a 360 had. That is what we were thinking, actually, but not really typed it. Like, in typing, that sounds way better than what we've been talking about this whole time. Mainly because what we talked about is how much they've settled. They're like, hey, we did this, we can now settle. Hey, this game is going on, we can now settle.
Jonathan, try calling again.
Ooh. But yeah, Y2 has a good point. Like, they've settled way too much.
Yeah. Honestly, they just got complacent once they say PlayStation and Nintendo started their own games with their exclusives and product. They could coast through with the success. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the way we described it is pretty much they settled and never gained out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely complacency because when you rewatch that E3 and they started talking more of just TV and just like entertainment and things like that, because this was also during the time where streaming services were slowly rising up, especially with the rise of Netflix being a thing, and then slowly after Hulu, and now you're starting to have like sports streaming services being slowly added to the console libraries
Ooh.
for people to just to access whenever they want to just take a break from gaming. We started to see the rise of that, but gamers still want to play games.
The number of your dial has been changed, disconnected, or not in service. Damn.
Message from Verizon. Okay. Yeah, because I'm using a Google number, so.
I forgot about Sunset Overdrive, and we have talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that had a lot of potential. Dragon Scale is something I feel like I forgot. But
Yeah, I'm going to have to get like another new number.
Okay.
Maybe one day I'm going to try to do it like via Discord.
Yeah, I feel like Discord might be the route.
Yeah. I think if the phone won't work, we'll just do Discord via Discord.
Yeah.
Because I think, or I'll just have to find like a much better phone service. Because I thought Google Voice would be a much, cheaper and alternative route.
Don't apologize for the long responses. We appreciate all interaction.
Yeah.
Xbox saw competition, and instead of looking at it and seeing how
No, you're not interrupting the flow, Jonathan. This is more of an interactive episode where we're interacting with you guys in the chat with the topic of that we're just talking and discussing and whatnot. So you're not interrupting the flows.
Yeah, no, not at all.
If anything, it's just like, hey, we want to talk to people. Like we want to dedicate at least one episode, maybe once a month or twice a month, to where we have an episode where it's just a call-in show. People could call in and just share their thoughts on whatever that we're discussing gaming-wise.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, Xbox saw competition. Instead of looking at it, seeing how they can look at their own brand and improve it, they got scared and kind of just started doing the bare minimum, sadly.
Nah, Y2, you're spot on.
Yeah. You're not missing.
No, you're spot on.
That's what we were just discussing. Like, they had every opportunity in the world to improve.
Yeah.
But they just declined.
Yeah, and we said that with some of their other avenues that Microsoft went down the road with, like their own little MP3 player, the Microsoft Zune, the phone, the Windows Lumia or whatnot phone brands. Like Microsoft tried to expand their branches.
They executed but not accomplished, or like
to different avenues to bring in more revenue, and then of course building their clientele base of dedicated customers. But they start they just do not innovate, and they just stop, and then it just dies.
They settle.
Yeah.
They settle for less. It's awkward to see now as we're growing up in this world.
Yeah.
And seeing society changing, people's perspectives. Because we used to see every commercial and go, wow, that is insane. And now we're
Mhm.
seeing every trailer and every tweet, and we're like, wow, this is not as insane as we thought it was.
Oh yeah.
It's just so much going on in the world right now when it comes to gaming and such. Seeing Microsoft is just like, oh, we're doing this now. Because you remember that Xbox commercial that they're like, oh, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. That's an Xbox.
Yeah.
It does not feel that way.
Yeah, I don't like, where everything is an Xbox, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that because you look at something like Nintendo.
Oh, it looks like they timed him out. Stream elements.
8 messages were deleted by. Oh, oh my God.
Awkward.
What the hell? Yo, Y2, I apologize for that. I don't know why Stream Elements just did that as a moderator.
Man, it's acting like one of those stereotypical mods. You good, homie. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Like, I have no control over that. So I just have to, I definitely have to tweak my settings on fucking Streamlabs, because they just timed the dude out.
They timed one of the two people up we were trying to chat with.
Like, bro. Y2, if you're still watching and whatnot, like, come over to YouTube. Like,
yeah,
fuck Twitch.
Oh my God, and we're saying this on Twitch is crazy.
Well, no, it's not Twitch's fault. It's Streamlabs' fault for just timing the dude out and then deleting all the messages. Like, bro,
like
we're having a discussion.
Don't worry. If you're looking at the playbacks, you can always just pause, read the message, and then hear interactions with it. That's perfectly fine. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Yeah, because this is the first time we're using this layout
I've never
doing our talk shows and whatnot. So yeah, I'm locked. Yo, Y2, I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to tweak that right once the podcast is done. That is some hoe shit right there.
Yeah, that. Oh wait, I don't know if he's on another one. Okay.
No, he's good.
He's valid.
He's good. He's good. Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was low key funny. I love how we just improvise and adapt. Remember, we are not professionals. We're growing to be professionals.
Hey, first time for everything. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we always learn from our mistakes, which is the funniest part about this podcast.
Yeah.
It's funny in a good way because you don't see many people. We're not like Microsoft. We don't give up.
Nah, we try to innovate, and we try to try to do new things to see. You know what? Let's try this. Let's try it. Let's see. Let's see where this goes.
This is what makes it fun.
Instead of just giving up completely, like how Microsoft gives up completely on some of its ventures that it tries to do, and you're just like, yo, what the hell?
Just like my ex-wife. I don't even have an ex-wife.
It's like, what the hell, man?
Oh my goodness.
Especially when the ball is in your court and you're just like, bro, you're the star of the game right now, and you decided to just like miss every shot, and now the opposing side dunks on you, and you end up losing.
It's like watching the Mavericks go back into season after taking so many L's nonstop. Bravos that watch basketball. You know, the layout that does look better now.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about, but how do you guys feel with Xbox having their exclusives on PlayStation?
You know.
How do I feel about that? Honestly, I feel that it is a huge slap in the face for people who bought Xboxes for just those exclusive games. And now you're pretty much telling your consumer base, hey, we've pretty much just given up on trying to innovate and give you guys more creative. We've given up on being creative and innovative to give you guys a better gaming experience, since we're now allowing everyone that doesn't even buy our console to experience the games that you guys have bought our console for. I feel like it is a slap in the face.
Yeah,
Like business wise, I understand why they're doing it, but still,
they're focusing on
your dedicated, loyal fans that bought your console just for those exclusive games because they know that it's not going to be available on these other platforms. Now all of a sudden it's available everywhere. Just like, what was the point?
I agreed.
Y2 says now Sony doing the bare minimum because there's no competition,
Oh, that's the
but
same
they
thing for
can
me.
do whatever because people are not going to other consoles. Yeah, yeah, we're starting to slowly see that. Like myself, Waluigi, we've talked about it in previous episodes, even including in the PlayStation cast that we had earlier this year, where we feel like the PS5 is not living up to the potential it can be, or it fails to capture the hype that was the PS4. And with the PS5, and I've said this before, that a lot of people who got a PS5, they started the PS5 generation late. I would
Oh
say
my God,
a year to 2
me
years.
too.
A year to 2 years later, they finally got a PS5, and now they're slowly experiencing the games. Because if they're now thinking about, all right, PS6 is just like, yo, give us a couple of more years before you even introduce the PS6. Even the PS5 Pro was rushed, in my opinion.
It was high key rushed.
And it's not even selling well because it's like, what's the point? There's no demand for it. All you've shown were just remasters of games that were available on the PS4 and it looked good, and now it's on the PS5. Oh, it's 4K 60, but how many gamers are playing on 4K monitors or TVs?
It's just like that's a tough question to ask. It's like, oh, my TV's 4K. Are you sure about that? What about your cables and everything? Like that is one of the most difficult questions to ask people because they want to be so specific and nitpicking, and especially when it comes to monitors that are supposedly 4K.
Yeah.
Man, those like gold HDMI cables. Man, this like Celsius is kicking in. And I'm
Gears
glad.
of War PlayStation is going to feel weird, Loki. Yeah, and
I'm
the
not
thing,
the same man.
and the thing about that is they're not even for Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. They're not even bringing the multiplayer. It's all going to be single player.
Oh, that's lame as hell.
Yeah, I said the same thing too. I was like, oh fuck that.
Oh, that is so lame.
You're gonna bring Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, but no multiplayer? Yeah, I ain't playing this shit. Fuck that.
It's like
No co-op. Oh nah.
if there's no co-op, it feels like a waste.
Yeah,
Because especially with the multiplayer skins you earn and everything from like 1, 2, and 3.
yeah,
4, you can just buy a few once, but hey, I'm not judging.
yeah. It's like nah. Like, okay, no PvP multiplayer.
Because
I can be like, I'm gonna bitch about it, but I'm like, you know what? I can
Okay.
somewhat give it a slow pass. But no co-op, like, bro, when that was the one thing that made Gears of War so much fun, it was the co-op,
You know,
especially the offline co-op where it's just you and your buddy and y'all just going through the whole thing, bro.
oh my god, I played
That
story of
made
Gears of
the
War 2
experience
twice.
so well.
And I played multiplayer with the co-op screen twice in my life. Man, I learned how to quickscope and third-person shooter, and that's crazy. I had a cousin that was playing reggaeton. We didn't even play the game music, and that's why I have the habit of not listening to in-game music at all when I do gaming. I just play other music to kill time,
Oh no, me, I'm just
unless the audio is actually banger.
oh no, for me, I'm locked in. I'm locked in, and I'm just like, grab the shotgun, and I'm just wall bouncing everywhere. Bum 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 bum.
Oh my god, I gotta text my cousin. Yeah, the fact I learned how to play competitive Gears of War from him, even though he wasn't a competitive player, was still insane.
And Gears of War has so much potential on being like a real competitive like esports game, but
It has its league of its own here and there, but you know, it's just like KOF and other places, Mexico. I say this without being racist. I'm Latino, anyways. But pretty much, yeah. I'm kind of glad Gears of War 1 isn't multiplayer. It kind of sucked with only doing the roadie rolls and such. Gears of War 2 was the best multiplayer, in my personal
Yes.
opinion. Gears of War 2, 3, and 4. 5 is still mad and doable. But Gears of War 2 multiplayer hurts.
Yes.
3, it hurts a lot because there were a lot of skins you could earn back then, including the beta as well.
Mm-hmm.
The beta that was saved in your hard drive. Remember, kids, we had hard drives. And then people used to buy those, like, big old hard drives that are like a terabyte just to hold stuff. I think I still have mine. Or it's like 100 gigs.
Somewhere around that line. I don't think during the 360 days we didn't even know about a terabyte until like PS4, Xbox.
Oh,
One.
sorry. I'm talking about Xbox One. Let me correct
Okay,
myself.
Xbox One, yeah.
360.
360 and
if it had-
PS3, like at least games did not take up like so much of your hard drive.
If it had a
back
few
then.
gigs, that's like rich. That's too rich for someone's blood.
Yeah. Like if you had like a console with what 250 gig, like bro, you're eating good.
Yeah.
You that's about a good maybe 10 to 15 games on your console. You're doing nice. Nowadays it's like, especially on your PS5, like bro, I can't even have like 10 games, digital download games on my console because the fact that it's just gonna eat up so much
And
space.
you had to like choose what game to delete that you'll have to re-download later. Like it's a good and a bad nostalgia. Like man, this is inconvenience, but history repeats itself as you're playing like PlayStation 5 games,
Yeah.
but not PC. Unless you have the space. If you don't, then that's a skill issue.
Yeah. Y2 says, also Xbox bought a bunch of studios and not doing anything with them. Yeah.
So
And
many
I think-
studios have been shut down.
Yeah. That they've also shut down some studios. And I'm just like, why the hell did
Wait,
y'all buy?
you remember the whole layoffs with Destiny?
Yes.
That was painful.
And some of those studios, they just make games just for Game Pass. And I'm just like,
At this point, yeah.
it was like, what was the point? Like they bought them during the like close to the end of the Xbox One era, and then going into the X series, they're all right, we're gonna really start to see some good games that Xbox has been cooking. Nope, we are, but it's gonna be available everywhere. So it's just like, well, then there's no point of there's no point of us buying an Xbox Series then. If it's gonna be everywhere, it's just like, what's the point of buying your console?
And like even companies like Rare, they only have a few games that are significant. But they're
True.
just old as hell, like GoldenEye. Or-
Y2, I need to get me a 2 terabyte for my PS5, but I've just been so
Who wants
lazy.
to buy it is the question.
I've been lazy, and then of course I'm waiting for like a really good sale so that way I can be like, all right, now I'm finna buy it.
Yeah, let's wait for the PS6 at this point.
At that point, I might as well just buy a 10 terabyte hard drive.
You might as well be the storage at this point by the time my PlayStation makes something that good quality.
Listen, if by the time, I'll be in my 40s when the PS6 drops or whatnot. Will I still be gaming? Probably
I'll
so.
be in my 30s.
I'll probably still be gaming, but if the PS6 does not move me, it's like at this point I'm gonna just go full PC.
Yeah, like,
This is like fuck it. I'm gonna just go full PC. Like the PS6. Even though this is we're talking about Xbox, the PS6 needs to win me over. And the only thing I'm gonna ask is, I want integration with the PS3 store, with the new current gen. I just want integration so that way I can now have one store to download my PS3 games and my PS4 games and my PS5 games all in one on one console. That's all I want. That is all I want. That is how you get me to buy a PS6 within the first month. If not, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll give me a PS3. I do have one. I have two actually, but I want the fat boy one. And I got my PS4 Pro and I got a PS5 and I got a PC. Xbox, I'll probably just cop a Xbox 360, a working one, hopefully, because
just use mine.
nah,
I feel like the old days where you used to just borrow consoles with people.
the fact that Sony said that the PS5 is near its life cycle says a lot. I know,
I still hate the pandemic people, the scalpers and such.
yeah, definitely. The scalpers did ruin it for everybody because everyone started a console generation late. But at the same time, when you looked at the lineup of games that came out for the PS5, it really wasn't that much.
It's
Impressive.
Still, like that child in me died on the inside after getting 2 years afterwards.
Yeah.
Just to hear it's the end of your life cycle, you're like, damn, I wasted $800 on this from GameStop just for it to be close to the end of its life cycle.
Yeah, and since now, I mean, we're pretty much going towards the tail end of the podcast anyway. Now that the PlayStation 5 is nearing its end of the life cycle, whatnot, the games that the live service games that they were supposed to bring out this year, they've ended up canceling a lot of them. Now we're gonna have to wait years until they come out for the next generation console, and it's like, bro, what the fuck?
It's like, what's the point? It's just like you're making us spend money and expecting us to pay it right up front.
I'm gonna say this: like, if you have a backlog of games, you might as well just start playing them now, or at least if there's some new games that are coming out that pique your interest, play them. Like for me, I'm playing Monster Hunter World Wilds, so
I've been just playing Street Fighter 6, like the inner fighting game nerd, and One Piece TCG.
I mean, I'm playing Monster Hunter and Grand Blue, so I'm dabbling in both.
You know what would be funny? If I just trade in games like, oh, here's a free Xbox Series X, I'm just going to look at them disrespectfully. Unkind words will be said, Silver, if they offer a Series X to me.
Bro, I'll just give that away.
Honestly, I'd give it to a homeless person. Just say, hey, here's a paperweight.
Nah. I wouldn't give it away. I would give it away. I'd give it away to the arcade and be like, here you go.
Nah, I think the homeless person in Miami would be a better place for it to be.
I will say that the PS5 and Xbox Series have a huge library feels. Yeah, I agree. I strongly feel that it doesn't have a huge library, and some of the new games that are coming out, it is also coming out on the PS4. So it just goes to show that
it just shows that it's still not dying yet.
Yeah, like the PS4 is still getting new games, bro.
Hold on. So when the PS4 dies, does that mean we're gonna get the PS6?
Probably.
That's just messed up. I can't.
Probably. Shit.
I have tears coming down my eyes. That is so funny. It's like we're gonna be talking about this in the next
They're still making games for the PS4. That is the craziest shit. They're still making games for the PS4 because a lot of people are still on the PS4 and they feel like
you ain't gonna hear anything about Xbox One making games.
Like no, some of them feel like there's no point for them to go to the PS5 because most of the games don't capture their interest.
It's like, why spend $800 when I'm fine with a jet engine I paid for back in like 10 years ago?
Hell, you can get the base PS5 and call it a day. You don't have to go out and buy. I wouldn't even recommend getting you the PS5 Pro because it's not. It ain't worth it.
Maybe if you undust it, it'll run a lot better and sound less like it's an airplane crashing now.
Literally.
I can't. I'm sorry. It was messed up, but I'm right. Those PS4s just sound like they're about to end themselves.
Yeah.
Like, the Xbox One had a rendering of death. We don't even know what the PS4 has.
Just the jet engine and
maybe it'll just
probably, I know the base PS4, like the OG model, did have, like their power supply. It does go bad because mine's ended up going bad.
Oh my God.
At one point, yeah. To the point where I had to get it replaced. Which I ended up getting replaced, and then I ended up selling it to one of my friends. That way, I ended up selling it to one of my friends, and then I ended up getting a PS4 Pro.
Damn. You gave him the problems, as you should.
But it was a working one, though. How's Grand Blue so far, Gabe? I'm enjoying the game.
Low-key, I might play it too.
I'm enjoying Grand Blue.
I saw that Iron Mouse is a voice actor. I don't know anything about VTubers, but I found that incredibly hilarious.
Yeah.
Watch me rob.
Like I'm at the phase in Grand Blue where I'm really enjoying the game. I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the matchups. Even the ones that I lose at, that I suck at, I'm at that part where I'm leveling up. I'm doing so good, to the point where it's like winning or losing is like I do get frustrated, but it's just like I understand why. Because sometimes I feel like I'm being too defensive. I'm not being offensive enough. I need to be a little bit more aggressive. Or like if it's a matchup that I do know about, I need to make sure that I play it right and play, very careful. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's still insanity that games are coming out for PS4. But yeah, it's always good to get back into a game.
2B is fun. I definitely 2B is very fun because
And that's where you lost me. I'm kidding.
there's still people who play PS4 still, and I see why. Because PS5 don't have any games that'll make them buy it, and most of the games are still coming out for PS4. Yeah, most of the games are still coming out for the PS4. Yes, the PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4 games, but I would say a good chunk of PS4 games, like a good chunk of games that are on PS5 are also playable on PS4. But some of the new games that are like coming out, I would say like Monster Hunter Wilds, it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's on PS5 only. Black Myth Wukong, PS5 only, definitely worth it. Stellar Blade, definitely worth it. I wish I brought my gaming binder
Nerd. Yeah, I know. You should.
because I could definitely be like, all right, you can get this game, this game, this game, this like PS5 exclusive games.
I feel like we got to make like a tier list later. That'll be a next random episode.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
I would say that I don't want to do remasters, but I would be calling myself a hypocrite because there are certain games that I would like to see remastered, or hell, I would like to see rebooted.
There's so many games I don't want to see remastered.
Like, I know we're like kind of done with Xbox and whatnot, and we're just
just like
we're just
Microsoft.
like just shooting the shit and talking with you guys in the chat.
It's just like Microsoft. Don't worry.
But
Oh yeah, so Silver over here has a gaming binder. He has like games from PlayStation 1, 2, 3, Xbox, etc. Like
like my gaming
he has
binder.
disc.
I buy my games physical, so I have a lot of discs of PS5, PS4, PS3, PS2, and even PS1 games. I also have Xbox 360 games. I also have Nintendo Wii games as well.
It's like fuck a money spread. Just show your games out, homie.
Yeah,
Because right now the gaming market is so stupid nowadays with old games that should not be costing 70, 80 bucks.
like I'm trying to get in the habit of buying more of my games physical rather than digital, so that way,
That's a real library.
yeah, so that way it's like I can play them, and if people want to borrow some of the games that I have, like I let my brother borrow a PS5, and I also gave him like a couple of games to like play or whatnot. So once he's done with those, I'm like, all right, try these games.
That's real.
Like, so that way, hey, you don't have to go out and buy these games, but hey, try them out and whatnot, because he also has like a library of games of himself as well, like PS4.
Oh, that's
yeah.
wholesome.
Yeah.
You guys are like the Hollywood Video, except you guys are here. I love that.
Yeah.
Whew, had to pop my shoulders.
But overall, Xbox, like as I said earlier in the episode, that I do want to see Xbox achieve greatness, but where they're currently at now, I think that dream is dead.
Oh.
I don't think we're going to see Xbox ever rise, achieve the peak greatness that they had with the Xbox 360. I don't think we're going to see that ever again.
Unfortunately, unless they
Because-
actually do something.
Because the fact that when it comes to console gaming, you want people to buy your console, and they're only gonna buy your console if there's a specific game that is only available on that console. Like, for me, example, I like Metroid Prime because I played Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 on the GameCube. Metroid Prime 4 is finally coming out on the Nintendo Switch, but if there is one coming out for the new Nintendo Switch 2, then I'll be like, you know what? I ain't going to get the one for the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to get it for the Nintendo Switch 2, so that way I can finally play Metroid Prime 4 on the new Nintendo Switch. I love Metroid Prime 4. I'm a huge fan of Star Fox, but guess what? Those Nintendo games, you will never find them on PC. You'll never find them on Xbox. You'll never find them on PlayStation. They're going to only be on Nintendo, and I respect that. When it comes to Pokemon, it's only going to be on Nintendo.
Yep. But now we're gonna see
Mario Kart, it's only going to be on Nintendo.
Man, we're gonna see Master Chief on another console. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bittersweet thing. At least people who haven't experienced it could experience Microsoft without seeing the Xbox logo. It feels like another disappointment now. The more I say it, I'm having some optimism, but it just sounds like I'm dying in the inside.
Yeah, it just Microsoft just
They
they've
played
they've
themselves.
slowly killed the Xbox brand because they just failed to innovate. They failed to be creative and trying to get more new people to their platform.
They failed to put more effort into it. Actually, is what it
That
looks like.
too.
More in a. I mean, they have innovation with the design, the technology, some of the computer software, some of the hardware, but they've definitely lacked a lot of ingenuity, a lot of more creativity, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding where they failed. They
Yeah.
just produce, but they don't create.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't like recreate what they've done or re-emulate. They don't really put much effort.
Yeah, and it sucks to see, honestly.
It feels like growing up was a great feeling, but as you're growing up, you're seeing the death of another like group.
Yeah,
Such as
you're seeing the slow death of a favorite
there we go.
piece of history that you
Thank
grew
you. I need it. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
a piece of history that you grew up with, that you enjoyed, that you had a good time with, and now all of a sudden, as you're getting older, it's like, man, these guys are not they're not reaching the peak greatness that they once had because
Is this what it's like when people lost Dreamcast back then?
yeah.
We're watching that in a modern day, and that's insane.
And now we see that with Microsoft to where they want to go the route of like your Sega because it business wise it makes sense.
It might be the best
Sega
thing
got
for them.
out of the console market because it was a lot of money. It's a lot of money going into it, and you may not be profitable. So
And the key word is like may not be profitable.
yeah,
Back then, they didn't know it was going to be profitable. Then, as like the 2010s came in, they fully are aware of it, but they took no crazy actions. They only took temporarily like money pits.
yeah, because when Sega made that shift, they still needed to grow into from we were making consoles and then of course making games. So now we're just like we're not gonna focus on making consoles. We're gonna keep making games, and then we're gonna improve these games. And lo and behold, Sega's eating good right now
Yeah, may we see this with Microsoft? We really do not know, in all honesty.
because Microsoft has Bethesda.
Yep.
They have Activision because
Yeah.
they acquired them.
Yep.
So
So Call of
And-
Duty is not going to die out anytime soon, for what most people would expect.
yeah,
Unless
it's still
Treyarch
going to
fixes it.
continue. You're still going to get your new Elder Scrolls game. Doom is going to be on all platforms and whatnot because that makes the most, financial sense to make it available on all platforms.
Mhm.
But if they were exclusive to the Xbox platform, not available on PC, that could change things.
Yeah,
But they didn't want to go that route because
they're not going to gatekeep because they want customers.
they want exactly.
And then even a PC port will take a year or so. They could have done that route. But everything is going out at the same time.
Yeah.
The only exception is GTA 6, if that shit will ever appear.
That's another topic for another day.
Yes.
But other than that, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank y'all for watching and tuning in.
Shouts out to my boy Johnny Hernandez. Love you.
We're definitely gonna make sure the next 2 weeks that we do this, we'll have like a brand new dedicated number so that way people can actually call in. And from there on, I would say, hey, thank y'all so much for watching and tuning in. If you are new here, go ahead and give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe.
Like and
Share the podcast, let the people know where we're at and whatnot. I appreciate y'all for coming out and tuning in and just chit chatting with us. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. And yeah, until next time, and as always, hey, y'all stay classy.
Peace.
And oh yeah,
The
before I go out,
the outro music?
I always keep forgetting the outro music. Is it? Hold on, is it? No,
What
I
does
think
this button do?
there we go. So yeah, gotta play the outro music. I always keep forgetting that when we're about to wrap up or whatnot. But
It's like such a good vibe. I freaking love it.
yeah, we appreciate y'all so much.
Always.
Xbox is just not the same anymore. They've
Unfortunately.
crashed and burned. They've tried to rise like a phoenix, but I think they're just
They're just fried chicken at this point.
yeah, they're slow. Like Xbox is just slowly dying away, and it sucks to see because it had so much potential on being one of the best multiplayer consoles of all time.
And then it just died out.
Yeah,
Sony's just smoking that Microsoft pack as we speak.
yeah. But
Wow, that sounded so Gen Z. Please kill me now.
well, anyway, guys, thank y'all so much again for watching and tuning in. Like the video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Laters.